Hi there, my name's Tina and my study focuses on the Japanese video game Tokimeki Memorial Girls Side, which is a dating simulator. Dating simulators are a genre of video game in which the player controls the protagonist in order to court and date characters from within the game. Tokimeki Memorial Girls Side is the most popular female version of the genre available, and the Tokimeki Memorial series itself was voted as one of the top 30 games of all time by the #1 Japanese video game magazine Famitsu. My study looks to explore key themes of gender, identity and intimacy in hopes to create a better understanding of the game's content, as well as to identify possible cultural implications the content has for the Western audience. Now, after many hours of gameplay, I've come to you today to tell you just a little bit about it. Before you go on a date, the player gets to choose what they wear, both in clothing and accessories. Sounds exciting, right? But be warned, this is where life gets very, very complicated. If the player chooses an outfit they like, but their date doesn't like it, they will not be rewarded by advancing in the relationship. And in fact, due to time constraints of the game, you'll actually be punished. Now, if the player chooses to continue this behaviour, choosing their preference over that of their dates, they run the risk of receiving the bad ending of the game. The game can and will end with the player being alone and considered as undesirable by all other characters in the game. In gaming mentality, you lost. The only thing to do from this point is to retry with hopes for improvement. But here's the kicker. In order to improve, the player must successfully read their identity through their date's eyes and then conform to his ideals of desirable. Now, if this wasn't making life complicated enough, I forgot to mention that you're actually playing as a Japanese schoolgirl who just entered her first day of Year 10, and that date could be your high school teacher. Now, you're probably thinking, whoa, that's a bit off, even criminal. But in Japan, the Japanese Penal Code has the age of consent set at 13, unlike our states and territories that go between 16 and 17. And this, ladies and gentlemen, is where cultural difference gets a bit icky. Do we, as a Western audience, have a problem with this? And if we do, what do we plan to do about it? But more importantly, what cultural implications does it have on us as a Western audience? Now, video games get a lot of attention from the media, academics, parents alike, but there's always two main reasons it does: boys and violence. Here I'm showing you today a game that is specifically aimed at young girls, even though it normalizes relationships with minors and encourages them to conform to male ideals of desirable, but no one's talking about it. I think this is content that we should be talking about, so I want us today to start this conversation. Now, regardless of that, I'm not saying whether this game is good or bad. I've actually had a great time studying it. But what I am saying is that its themes of gender, identity, and intimacy, and more importantly, its cultural implications for us as an audience, needs to be investigated further. And that's exactly what my study plans to do. Thank you.